What's up, guys? Mike here, and back with the week two predictions. Last week we went 10-5. Before we get into this week's predictions, if you guys can just check out the description box below, there's a link to a GoFundMe. One of my friends, her family lives in Cuba, which was one of the more devastated areas from Hurricane Irma. She's created GoFundMe because her family's basically their entire community got destroyed. So if you guys can at least just check that out, it would mean a lot to me. Really good friend of mine. Want to help her out in this time of need for her and her family. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into week two picks. Like I said, 10-5 last week. We'll see how well we do this week. Not really the most exciting games last week. A lot of them were blowouts or just uninteresting. Let's hope our week two is a little bit better. So first off, we've got the Thursday nighter tonight between the Texans and the Bengals. The Texans coming off getting stomped by the Jaguars and giving up 10 sacks. And the Bengals coming up being shut out by the Baltimore Ravens. This is a great way to get the week started, NFL. I'm going to go with the Bengals here because I think the Bengals have a better defense in terms of being able to put pressure on the quarterback. Really, Houston did nothing against Jacksonville on defense, which was really disappointing. And as long as Dwayne Brown is on his holdout, that means that Julian Davenport has to start, and he was not ready to start coming out, and he definitely showed that in week one. Lots of bad effort plays trying to block and everything, and I just feel like in this situation, until Houston figures out that line on a short week, with Deshaun Watson making his first start against a pretty good defense, there's no way I'm going against the Bengals. So I'm going to go with the Bengals in this one. Patriots and Saints, both coming off of losses. Patriots coming off a very surprising loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, where they just kind of choked it away. And that's why I think that the Patriots are going to win in week two. I think that Belichick's going to really put a foot up their ass, essentially, to get them in the right direction. The Saints don't really have much of a defense, and you're having to defend Tom Brady. I'm going to go with Brady in that case. Patriots win, and I'm pretty sure this one could get ugly quick. The Chicago Bears, who actually almost upset the Atlanta Falcons, versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers making their season debut. I want to pick Tampa Bay so bad because of the hurricane and everything, and I picked Houston for the same reason last week, which makes me a little bit skeptical, but in the end, I really just don't think the Bears are going to be able to pull off the W. I have the Buccaneers winning. I think that this one could be very defense-oriented. I'm not really sure. Like Tampa Bay obviously having one less week than everyone else to work out those kinks. It could be very low scoring, but I think the Bucs defense is going to be able to slow down the Bears. The Bears don't have much on offense, and their defense is pretty good, but just not good enough. Next, we've got my Philadelphia Eagles coming off a week one win against the Washington Redskins, which I was working the entire day, so I was checking my phone whenever I could, versus the Kansas City Chiefs coming off a victory against the Patriots in the opening week, with Kareem Hunt becoming a megastar in a night. I want to pick the Eagles, but I can't. You beat the Patriots. You pretty much have proven yourself already. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think the Eagles can keep it close, but I'm just not sold on the Eagles just yet. Beating Washington is not really all that hard. Next, we've got the Vikings and the Steelers both coming off of week one victories. The Vikings beat the Saints in the Monday Nighter. And the Steelers kind of struggled against the Browns, and that's why I'm going with the Vikings on the road here. If the Steelers can't get going against the Browns defense, I think the Vikings have a much better defense, and Le'Veon Bell really needs to pick up his game this week. He's going to be the X factor in this game. Ravens versus the Browns. Wow. The Browns really kept it close with Pittsburgh, and not really sure whether that says more about the Browns' defense or Pittsburgh's offense slowing down. But I'm going to err on the side of caution, just say it was the Steelers. I'm going to pick the Ravens in this game. They mollywopped the fucking Bengals, and their defense looks like it's back in peak Baltimore Ravens Ray Lewis era football. The Buffalo Bills versus the Carolina Panthers. This one's another really tough game because I'm not really sold on the Panthers, but we all know that the Bills are in complete teardown rebuild mode. Yes, they beat the Jets, but I'm pretty sure if you just rounded up 20 of your buddies, you probably could beat the Jets as well. So I'm going to go with the Panthers in this one. Cardinals at Indianapolis. I mean, the Colts lost 46-7 against the Rams. I mean, we all kind of knew the Rams would win that, but by 39 points. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Yes, David Johnson's injury does worry me, but there's just no way that the Colts are going to be able to win without luck. Titans versus the Jaguars. I actually went with the Titans here, coming off a Week 1 loss to a really good Oakland team. The Jaguars really just kind of took advantage of circumstance and won in that manner. I'm really not, plus Titans have a much better offensive line than the Texans do. I just think that Mariota is going to be able to do a little bit more than Watson and Savage. I'm going to pick the Titans in a close one. Jets and the Raiders. I mean, Raiders in a blowout. Next. Dolphins and Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers in this one. They came up just short against the Broncos, and I also just really don't think the Dolphins are any good this year. They're probably going to go 7-9, 8-8. I think the media really overhyped them. I'm going to just go with the Chargers this one. I trust the Chargers a little bit more. San Francisco and the Seahawks, the Niners and Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Seahawks here. Hopefully that offensive line is able to hold up. But geez, man, they got nothing against Green Bay the entire week last week. So that's going to be interesting to watch, but I just don't think the Niners have enough talent. I think talent reigns supreme. Redskins and the Rams. I'm going with the Rams here. I think a lot of people are going to expect the Redskins to pull off the victory, but I'm just, again, not sold on the Redskins. They have a lot of weaknesses on defense, and Sean McVay had that Rams offense looking really good last week. And maybe it was just because it's the Colts, but I'm going to err on the side of Sean McVay is that fucking good, and it's a Sean McVay revenge game. He's going to want to take it out on his former team. Dallas Cowboys versus the Denver Broncos. Broncos came out very lucky to get that victory against, I almost said San Diego, LA. That's going to be interesting going forward because that Cowboys defense is not good. It's a lot worse than LA, but I think that the offense for the Cowboys is better. Zeke is still able to play because, you just file a restraining order against the NFL. That'll never not be funny to me. I'm going to go with the Cowboys in this one. Packers and Falcons. I'm going with the Falcons in this. I think that they're probably a little bit on edge after almost losing to the Bears, and I think that they're going to be able to come back with a vengeance this week and just take it to Green Bay, who really doesn't have a great defense, but more so was taking advantage of the fact that, God, Seattle's offensive line is so bad. The Falcons have a much better offensive line. They're going to be able to protect Matt Ryan and run the football better. I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one. And then the Monday Nighter, the Detroit Lions versus the New York Giants. The Giants played like ass on Sunday night, and they had nothing going for them. And you can argue that, it was because Odell Beckham was out, but they still have Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. They have Paul Perkins out of the backfield. They've got Brandon Marshall, who may not be what he once was, but there are weapons, and it doesn't really matter. Like, Eli is no longer a serviceable starting quarterback. Let's call a spade a spade. His offensive line might be the worst in the entire league. It's disgusting. I'm not sure which one needs more offensive line help in Seattle or the New York Giants. I think that the Lions, even if they're able to generate minimal pass rush, are going to be able to create enough of a difference to throw off, fragile Eli Manning. And I think the Lions are going to come out with a pretty handily victory. So that's going to do it for today, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.